Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle, Reiki, spiritual healer. So, the understanding that I have gotten from a lot of you, and a lot of you have been asking me, about cleansing these types of negative spirits out of your family, out of your life. The first thing that you have to do is be able to revisit the past. You have to be able to make that person, look at themselves in the mirror, that this is the type of, energy that you're sending out. You have become the very thing that you did not want to become, like your mother, like your father. You have become that person who, you can't speak facts to. That we got to dance around because, you want to become a narcissist. So we have these understandings that when we're cleansing these types of negative energy, you have no choice but to revisit the past. And for those people who want to mix truth with lies, when they revisit the past, then they are able to say, well, this person was never here for me, or this person never did anything for me. These people that want to mix truth with the lies, are the ones who want to hold this spirit of devouring, of abusiveness, of being neglectful in their homes, in community. They cannot be trusted, in order to stand up. They cannot be trusted to stand up in their homes because they are too busy, looking at what somebody else has instead of what God has given them, and this is what separates them from chosen one, men and women. So, I have this understanding from, growing up on my mother's side. I have this understanding that when we are living on the land, and if you are threatened, this is the reason why we have this understanding that if you are threatened by anything on the land, if you can, harm an animal in order to eat, then we can harm something that is threatening us as well. Even though we love it. But we have to have the understanding that my mother always taught me, that the first law of nature is self-preservation. No matter who you are. And when you are cleansing certain spirits, when a person refuses to acknowledge their past or their shortcomings, then it's going to take longer for that person to reach that idea that, they're not ready for certain levels yet. They're not ready for leadership. They're not ready to lead the family. They're not ready to lead on their job, but yet and still they will fight you tooth and nail for that position. So in that aspect, we have to be ready to move away from people, to defend ourselves, to apply the holy books to ourselves. That the first law of the world, the first law is preservation, self-preservation. Nature isn't going to lie about where any kind of negative energy is coming from. If a person have those attachments and they cannot control themselves except for in certain situations where they can build things and they are masters in that area, but dealing with other people, they need some help. And we deal with these types of spirits in that way. We can heal these types of spirits by showing them the past. That if you want to, grow in your life, if you want to grow in your conduct and behavior, if you want the control that, you're trying to take out on me, then it lies with the people who have taken the control from you. It's very simple. We don't need, to say that, this woman is trying to tell me something. And no, we're not trying to tell you anything. We're going to show you at this point. We're going to show you because, that lies within our preservation, our self-preservation, to preserve ourselves from the behavior and the conduct of men who would become, violent. Because they have listened to the entity. This is why we have said we're going to pull our hands back. We're not in the generation where you can decide that you can put females on a substance so that they cannot see you, so that you can do what you want in the relationship, so that you can do what you want. You're not in that generation where this man is on a substance so that, you can have control of the house, you can have his leadership. No, God made him the chosen one. God made her the chosen one. And she has to walk in it. And so now there is a plight. There is a plight when we are applying the first law of nature, self-preservation, to men and women. Because we no longer are able to take our transgressions out on each other. We have to look at where the negative energy is coming from, where it has always come from. And you cannot say that, it is, my woman or these women. We cannot say that, I'm going to have all of this money because, I'm taking control of the family when, we haven't done a job in either area in each other's lives in the Black community. We haven't done a good job with applying the holy books to our life. And when you fail to apply the holy books, when you fail to apply the laws of nature, when you fail to apply God's promise to your life, then you have failed as the chosen one. So since we cannot fail anymore each other, since we cannot, take over each other, we must look at the past. We must look at the past objectively, truthfully, for what it was, for what it is. We must look at the path that we're on, that God has given us as the chosen one, men and women of this day and age, of this generation, and stop trying to apply the ways of the ancients to this day and age. We have outgrown that. We see you. We see the entity within your means, within the way that you behave, within your conduct, men and women. And nobody wants those women who are overly aggressive. Nobody wants you when you are, underserved as a male. So we have to make sure that we're coming together. We got the ambulance going down the street. They're going to save them, baby. I'm saving you right now. So we have these understandings that when we apply the past and we hold that mirror up to what really happened, to what was going on in the past, then we have the reflection, and it only is reflected of the entity. The entity in the spaces of the most cherished institutions, the church, how we were raised to respect our parents. But they wasn't given a chance to have that kind of respect in the Black and brown communities for each other, because the entity had taken the authority from the male. The entity took this authority, not the female. She tried to smooth it out until, she was getting smoothed out. Okay, we're not going for it. This is not what we're going for. Okay, we have to do better. We have to demand reparations from the entity. We have to come together in order to do that in our community. And I am so glad that so many of the chosen ones, despite some of these bad apples out here, men and women, want to remain with the entity to, throw, boomerangs, to throw rocks and hide their hands in our community, who want us to support them when they've never supported us on any level. And I'm asking you to take a look at yourselves and let's do better than the past. Stop, being in alignment with the entity. You know, stop being in competition with women. So I hope that you've received this message, that the first law of nature is self-preservation for all of us. Please book your one-on-one sessions with me. Book your life coaching sessions with me, or your video chat sessions, any consultation, so that I can acclimate a gift to your situation. You can donate to my channel or leave a comment for me. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.